Om Shanti. Today we will listen to Baba's Murli dated 8th October 2020. Today Baba says, sweet children, Baba has come with a great deal of interest to teach you. You should also study with that interest. Have the intoxication that God Himself is teaching you. So we are godly students, and Baba is teaching us the correct method to become godly students. So Baba says, godly students should have the intoxication that God is teaching us. And because God teaches us with a lot of interest, so we also should have that amount of interest in learning what God is trying to teach. Question: what are the aim and good wishes of you Brahma Kumars and Kumaris? So Baba says your aim is to establish the kingdom of happiness and peace in the world once again by following Srimad exactly as you did 5,000 years ago in the previous cycle. Your good wishes are that the whole world will be granted salvation by following Srimad. You say with intoxication, we will grant salvation to everyone. You receive a peace prize from the Father. To change from residence of hell into residence of heaven means to claim a prize. So Baba says, you carry out the task of granting everyone salvation and salvation in life, creating heaven on earth according to Baba's supreme directions or Srimad, and you receive a prize for that, which is you become residents of heaven. So just like in the world, people receive peace prize, but then they continue to lead a peaceless life despite getting a peace prize. Baba says, you will have a life full of peace and purity and happiness as a prize for establishing peace and purity in this world. So Baba says, you establish heaven on my directions, and then you get to become the residents of that heaven. That is your prize. So, Om Shanti. When students study, they do so in happiness. So, study is always undertaken in happiness. Their teacher also teaches them with a lot of happiness and interest. You spiritual children know that the unlimited Father, who is also the teacher, is teaching us with a lot of interest. In other studies, your father is separate from the teacher who teaches you. So, in the world, we seldom have our father as the teacher. So, one soul is our father and another soul is the teacher. So, Baba says some children's father is also their teacher who teaches them. Therefore, he teaches them with so much interest. Why? Because Baba says he teaches them with a lot of interest because there is that blood connection. So if in a situation where the father is also the teacher, so then the teacher would teach that child with a lot of interest because of blood connection. Now Baba says that he knows that that child belongs to him, and he therefore teaches him with a lot of interest. This father would also be teaching you with so much interest. Why? Do we have a blood connection? So there it is the blood connection because of which the father teaches with a lot of interest. Here it is the spiritual connection, and Baba knows that we belong to him and he is the father, and therefore he takes care to teach his children in such a manner that they become the highest on high. So Baba says that therefore you children should also study with very much interest. And this interest comes with recognition and consequent intoxication. So first we have to recognize who is teaching us and then have that intoxication that the highest on high, the supreme teacher, the supreme father has become my teacher and is teaching me. So Baba says that the Father is teaching you directly. He only comes once to teach you. You children should have a lot of interest because Baba, God, is teaching you. He explains everything very clearly. So Baba explains everything very clearly. Whenever we want to understand something, even before we put out that question, we receive an answer from Baba. Everyone sitting here has experienced that, right? And also, sometimes we don't even know how to put up a question, or sometimes there is something that we are going through in life and we don't even know how to ask the question to get rid of this situation, but Baba gives the answer anyway. Baba also teaches us those things, those truths which our intellect is right now not even in the capacity to imbibe or actually absorb. But then Baba has faith that if the powerful truth sits in the intellect, then the intellect will also become powerful, and he keeps giving it anyway. So Baba gives us so many teachings and with so much love and so much interest, and he gives these clear teachings, and he's the ocean of knowledge. So he gives the most powerful truths to us. So we should also pay attention and reciprocate. So when the highest on high, the supreme teacher is teaching, it is our duty to reciprocate and study with that amount of interest. Now Baba says, so Baba explains everything very clearly. While studying, some children wonder what this is all about. This is the cycle of coming and going in the drama, but they wonder, why was this play created? So I think some of the children who are sitting must have had this question. So Baba has sensed that and he is giving the answer. So some children wonder, why was this play created? What benefit is there in it? Will we just continue to go around the cycle all the time? In that case, it would be better to be liberated from the cycle. When they see that they have to continue to go around this cycle of 84 births, they have such thoughts as, why did God create such a play that no one can be liberated from the cycle and coming and going? It would be better to receive eternal liberation, that is moksha. Many children have such thoughts. They want to be liberated from this coming and going, from happiness and sorrow. So now the father answers, and the father says, this can never happen. So Baba asked us a question in yesterday's Murli, that those children who know the secret of the drama know one thing, that there is no eternal liberation and there is no provision for that, and every soul is an actor and must act. So you wouldn't be called an actor if you don't have a part in this drama. So Baba answers this question that keeps cropping up in the children's mind, and Baba says this can never happen. It is useless to try to attain eternal liberation. So, just like you go to school and you learn that 1 is less than 2 and 2 is greater than 1, and if you keep questioning why is not 2 less than 1, so then you can never reach that stage where 2 will be less than 1, even if you make a lot of effort, because that is how it is designed. That is a human design, but this is the eternal design. So there is no provision for eternal liberation or moksha. And Baba says, if you try in a direction where there is no possibility or hope, then you are wasting your thought and time and energy. So Baba warns us against this waste. And Baba says it is useless to try to attain eternal liberation. So Baba says, please make effort in a direction where there is possibility. So Baba also guides us about what effort we need to make and what attainment is possible. So Baba says, the Father has explained that not a single soul can be liberated from this part. An imperishable part is recorded in each soul. So a recorded CD can never not play the song that is recorded in it. So the CD can be out of the instrument, but then if it has a recording, it has to go into an instrument and play it. So Baba says, no one can be liberated from playing his part in this drama. So Baba says, an imperishable part is recorded in each soul. Souls are eternal and imperishable. The actors are absolutely accurate. There cannot be even one soul more or one soul less. You children have all the knowledge. No one can be liberated from playing his part in this drama, nor can anyone attain eternal liberation. Those of all religions have to come down number-wise. So some come earlier, some come later, but nobody can not come here. So Baba says those of all religions have to come down number-wise. The Father explains this is a predestined and eternal drama. You say, Baba, we now know how to go around the cycle of 84 births. You also understand that those who come first must take 84 births. And the thing to think about is, if we have to come anyway and there is no possibility of eternal liberation, then one should definitely make an effort to come in the beginning when everything is rich and fresh and satopradhan and it's in its purest state. So Baba says if you come in the beginning, you see the best of the world. So Baba says those who come later would surely take fewer births. Here you have to make effort. The old world is definitely going to become new again. And Dadi used to say that the advent of heaven is as certain as the advent of death. So just like when a person is born, he must die. So after Kali Yuga, there has to be Satyug. Now Baba says definitely Baba says definitely Satyug has to come. So Baba says the old world is definitely going to become new again, and we have to make effort to come in the first birth. Who would teach them? So Baba says because new children continue to come, Baba has to explain everything to you over and over again. So today also Baba is remembering the new children with a lot of love, and because Baba knows that new children are sitting and they have these questions, so Baba is explaining with a lot of love, humility and patience. So Baba says, who would teach them the previous lessons? Therefore, when the Father sees new children, he repeats the old points. All the knowledge is in your intellects. You know how you have been playing your parts from the beginning. You know accurately how you come down number wise and how many births you take. The Father comes at this time to tell you things of knowledge. So it is not about belief or desire. This is knowledge. What is what? So Baba comes and explains very clearly to us what is what. So Baba gives us the knowledge of the Creator and the creation accurately. In the golden age, you have the reward. It is only at this time that this is explained to you. The term Man Mana Bhav is written at the beginning and at the end of the Gita. So when we come to Baba, Baba teaches us, remember me, and at the end also Baba keeps saying, remember me. And when we come in the beginning, the remembrance is very different from how we remember Baba towards the end. So Baba says this is the crux of the effort you have to make to come in the beginning of Satyug or create a heavenly world. So the directions, the Srimad of Baba is Man Mana Bhav. So Baba says you are being educated so that you can claim a status. You are now making efforts to become kings. So in the Gita it is written that one who remembers Baba, that is Man Mana Bhav, he becomes the king of kings. So Baba says there is a mention of becoming the king of kings, which means that the kings from the copper age will also worship the deities which are the kings of the golden and silver ages. So Baba says, I am making you that, and the method to become that is Man Mana Bhav, that is remember Baba. So Baba says there is a mention of the effort to become kings or deities, kings of kings in the Gita. It has been explained how those of other religions also come down number wise. Everyone has to follow the founder of his religion. There is no question of a kingdom. So when the founder of other religions, for example, Christ came, Buddha came, so Abraham came, then the souls of that religion came down after the founder. There is no question of establishment of a kingdom, only the religion is established. And at this time, we establish the religion as well as the kingdom. How do we establish the religion? By imbibing virtues of the deity religion, by following the principles of the deity religion. And how do we establish the kingdom? By creating subjects, by serving others at this time. So when we serve, we will deserve to be a king in the next birth. So Baba says there is no question of a kingdom in case of other religions. It is just the scripture, the Gita, that has been praised a great deal. It is in Bharat that the Father comes and speaks it and grants everyone salvation. So in the Gita, it is written, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. So in the Gita, it is mentioned that God comes in Bharat. So Baba says it is accurately mentioned in the Gita that it is in Bharat that the Father comes and speaks it and grants everyone salvation. After the founders of religions have died, huge pilgrimage places are built to them. In fact, Bharat, where the unlimited Father comes, is everyone's pilgrimage place. The Father entered Bharat and granted everyone salvation. He says, you call me the liberator and the guide, do you not? So Baba says, kindly recall yesterday's Mama's versions, and Mama clearly mentioned that it is not only the souls of the deity religion who receive fortune through this knowledge, because Baba is the father of all souls. So every soul receives inheritance from the father through this knowledge. So Mama clearly explained that even if somebody doesn't imbibe divine virtues or doesn't make an effort to belong to the deity clan, still if they remember Baba and they practice being bodiless in the remembrance of Baba, then they are given the legacy of liberation without punishment. So a soul who remembers Baba becomes detached from the body, and then when the final moments arrive, they can simply fly back home without any effort or without receiving any punishment. So Mama said that Baba not only gives liberation in life to those deity souls who he has come and who he makes his children, but also grants liberation to all souls. So this is why Baba is saying today, you call me the liberator and the guide, do you not? I will liberate you from this old world of sorrow and take you to the land of peace and happiness. You children know that Baba will take us to the land of peace and the land of happiness, and that everyone else will go to the land of peace. So we will first go to the land of peace, which is the soul world, and then come to the land of happiness, which is the golden age. And others will go to the land of peace, stay there until it is time for them to come and play their parts here. So Baba says the Father comes and liberates you from sorrow. Neither does he take birth nor does he die. The Father has come and he will then leave again. You wouldn't say of him that he has died, nor that he left his body, as you would of Shivanand. So Baba says, so not like any other sage or saint, you wouldn't say that Baba died, because Baba is beyond the cycle of birth and death, and it is human beings who are referred to as dead or alive, and Baba is called Sada Shiv, so the eternal form of light and life. So Baba says, people carry out the final rites on the departure of a soul. No rites or ceremonies, etc., have to be performed when this father leaves. You can't even tell when he comes. There is no question of final rites, etc., being performed. The final rites of all human beings are performed, but there are no rites performed for the Father because he doesn't have a body. In the golden age, there is no mention of spiritual knowledge or worship. So in the golden age, we are neither worshippers nor do we have this spiritual knowledge in a conscious form. So we have the essence of the spiritual knowledge in our sanskars, but we don't have the spiritual knowledge consciously, neither do we perform worship in the golden age. It is only at this time that such things exist. Everyone else only teaches devotion at this time. For half the cycle, there is devotion, and then at the end of the cycle, the Father comes and gives you your inheritance of knowledge. So right now, there is knowledge for half the cycle, there is devotion, that is in the copper and iron age, there is devotion, and in the golden and silver age, there is neither knowledge nor devotions, there is only natural soul consciousness. This knowledge will not go there with you. There is no need to remember the Father, because the knowledge is man mana bhav, remember me. So in this golden age, there is no need to remember the Father there, because you are in liberation. So you call out to the Father for liberation and liberation in life, and when you have that, you don't call out to Him. Would you have to remember Him there? There are no complaints about sorrow there. So when there is no sorrow, then you don't remember the Father, and when you forget the Father, you start creating bad karma after a point of time, and then you again create a sorrowful atmosphere for yourself. Then you remember the Baba, and then you call out to Baba, and then Baba comes and teaches you how to liberate yourself from this sorrow, and then again you don't remember him. So Baba says devotion is at first unadulterated, and then it becomes adulterated. So in the beginning there is only devotion of one, that is, they create a Shivlingam and worship Shiv Baba, and then later on they create figures, figurines, idols, and gradually they start worshipping the elements of nature. So then devotion becomes adulterated. At this time, devotion is extremely adulterated. This is called the extreme depths of hell. It is total hell. The Father has now come to make it into total heaven. At this time, there is 100% sorrow. Then there will be 100% peace and happiness. Souls will go and rest in their home. It is very easy to explain this. The Father says, I only come when there has to be establishment of the new world and destruction of the old world. It wouldn't be just one who carries out such a task. Many helpers are also required. So Baba says, I come for this great task of establishment of the new world, and I don't do it alone. I need helpers. So Baba says, it is at this time that you children become the Father's helpers. You are doing true service of Bharat in particular because you are serving the soul. So all other people are also doing service, but they are serving the bodies. It is at this time that you children become the Father's helpers. You are doing true service of Bharat in particular. The true Father is teaching you true service. You benefit yourselves, Bharat, and the whole world. Therefore, you should be doing this with a great deal of interest. So today Baba says you should have interest for the study, and you should also have interest for this true service, because because the Supreme Teacher is teaching, so we should have interest for this study. And because God Himself is at service, so we cannot not be at service with Him. So we have to be at service with our Father, and we have to take up this spiritual service with a lot of interest. Baba grants everyone salvation with so much interest. Everyone now definitely still has to receive salvation. This is pure pride, good wishes. So you should be proud that you are serving with the Father, and this is pure pride, and this is your good wish that everyone should be granted salvation. So instead of body conscious pride, switch to this pure pride, and instead of desire, switch to these good wishes. So just imbibe this good wish that everyone in the world should receive this knowledge of salvation and liberation in life, and also have the pure pride that I am the fortunate soul who is becoming God's helper at this time. So Baba says, you should have this pure pride and these good wishes. So Baba says that you are doing true service, but in an incognito way. A soul does everything through a body. Many people ask you what the aim of the Brahma Kumaris is. Tell them the aim of the Brahma Kumaris is to establish the golden aged self-sovereignty of peace and happiness throughout the world. So Baba says, we also have aim, so we are not against ambition. So there are many people who think that spirituality makes you gives you lack of ambition. So Baba says, no, we have an aim, but that aim is not of a material kind. So what is the aim of us Brahma Kumars and Kumaris? It is to establish the golden aged self-sovereignty of peace and happiness throughout the world. Every 5,000 years, we establish peace in the world by following Srimad, and we claim the World Peace Prize. The king, the queen, and the subjects all claim this prize. To become a resident of heaven from a resident of hell is no small prize. So, because we help in this creation, Baba gives us this peace prize. Those people become very happy when they receive a peace prize, but they don't really receive anything. It is we who claim the true prize of world sovereignty from the Father at this time. They say that Bharat is their elevated land. They praise Bharat so much. So Bharat is called the golden sparrow, and Bharat is praised everywhere. They all believe that they are the masters of Bharat. So every resident of Bharat thinks that he is the master of Bharat. But Baba says, however, they are not the masters. So when you can't even save Bharat from is going as you would want it to go, how are you the master? So Baba says, when you become masters of yourself and serve your brothers and sisters, then you become the masters of Bharat. Then there is self-sovereignty and the reign of peace and happiness in Bharat. So Baba says that they are not the masters. However, you children are now establishing the kingdom by following Baba's Srimad. You don't have any weapons, etc. So you are establishing the kingdom of peace and happiness, but you don't have to use any weapons for that. The only weapon you use is the weapon of Man Mana Bhav, that is remembrance of Baba. So Baba says that you don't use any weapons, etc. You imbibe divine virtues, and this is why you are remembered and worshipped. Look how much Amba is worshipped. However, who is Amba? They don't even know if she is a Brahmin or a deity. So Amba is the remembrance of the Brahmin souls who right now make effort to imbibe divine virtues. And this is why when Amba's figures are established in temples, they are adorned with beautiful jewels, because at this time we are imbibing the divine virtues, which are the jewels of the soul. And by doing that, we are killing the vices within us. So Amba is shown killing the asuras or the devils. So Baba says actually the form of Amba is not a deity form but a Brahmin form. There are many such names such as Amba, Kali, Durga, Saraswati, etc. Here too there is a small temple to Amba. So near Mount Abu there is a temple of Amba. They show Amba with many arms, but she is not like that. That is called blind faith. When Christ and Buddha etc. came, they established their own religions. Their times and dates are well known. There is no question of blind faith. Here the people of Bharat don't know anything. So they say that Amba and Durga and Kali and Brahma are part of mythology, because they don't know the date and time in which these acts took place. So a real incident becomes a myth or a blind faith because you don't know when it occurred. So Baba says these things are very real, and it is at this time that Baba is creating the divinity recreating or re-emerging the divinity within us, and the symbolic representation of that is the deities which we worship on the path of devotion. And Baba says, people of Bharat don't know anything, who established their religion or when it was established. This is why it is said to be blind faith. You are now worshippers, and you will then become worthy of worship. When you souls are worthy of worship, your bodies too become likewise. So your bodies also become pure. And this is why, we, even with idols of deities, we wash their feet and drink that water, because the bodies of deities are pure. So, and we cannot do it with a human being right now. So you are worshipped in the form of souls. So as saligrams we are worshipped. And then because you became deities, you are also worshipped in those forms. The Father is always incorporeal, and He is always worthy of worship. He never becomes a worshipper. It is of you children that it is said that you are worthy of worship, and you are also worshippers. The Father is ever worthy of worship. The Father comes here and does the true service of granting everyone salvation. The Father says, now constantly remember me alone. Don't remember any bodily beings. Many millionaires and billionaires cry out the name of Allah. There is so much blind faith. So people think that by changing their religion, they will gain something. So Baba says, no, by coming back to your original religion and remembering Baba, the point of light, will you remember anything? The Father has also explained to you the meaning of hum so, that is, I am that which I was. So hum so, people think that we were part of the Supreme Soul, and then we become a soul, and then we go back to merge with the Supreme Soul. So they think this is the meaning of hum so hum. But Baba says that is not the exact meaning. Actually, you were a soul, and then you became a deity, and then you became a Kshatriya, then you became a Vaishya, and then you became a Shudra soul. And then Baba comes and makes you a Brahmin, and then you again become a deity. So this is the cycle of the soul. So Baba says, they say Shivoham, that is, I, the soul, am the Supreme Soul. The Father has now told you what is correct. Therefore, now judge for yourself whether the things you have heard on the path of devotion are right, or whether the things Baba is telling you are right. Their explanation of Hamso is very long and complicated. We are Brahmins, and we then become deities, warriors, and the businessmen, and then the Shudra. And then Baba comes and again makes us Brahmins, and then we become deities. So which meaning of Hamso is right? This is how I, a soul, go around the cycle. There is also the picture of the variety form image. So in the variety form image, there is the picture of Vishnu, and his face is shown to be the deity, and then onwards it is the warrior and the business class, and then it is the Shudra. So Baba says, then how do you change from the Shudra to again a deity? So in the middle, so there is a top knot called the Brahmin, and there is Shiv Baba who makes us the Brahmin. So in that variety form image, the image of Shiv Baba and Brahmin is missing. They have neither shown the Brahmins the top knot in this picture, nor even shown the Father. Where do deities come from? How are they created? In the Iron Age, there is the Shudra clan. Therefore, how could the deity clan suddenly come into existence in the Golden Age? They don't understand anything. So, becoming old from new is a gradual process. But if you want to become new from old, then there has to be a process to it. You can't suddenly renew. So Baba says they don't understand anything. People are trapped so much on the path of devotion. Someone studied the Granth and had the thought of building a temple. Therefore, he did that and just sat there and related the Granth. Many people go there and many become followers, but there is no benefit in that because they don't change their consciousness or their attitude or their action. They just go, listen, come back, and continue to be the same. Many shops have emerged. All of those shops will now be destroyed. All of that business exists on the path of devotion and they earn plenty of money through that. Sannyasis say that they are Brahm yogis. So, Brahm yogis mean yogis who have yoga with the Brahm element. So, you should have yoga with the Father, not with your home. So, Baba says, just just as the people of Bharat originally belonged to the deity religion, but they say that they belong to the Hindu religion. Why? Because they lived in Hindustan, so say they thought their religion is Hindu. So Baba says, just like you thought your religion to have its origin in the place where you reside, similarly, they thought that the Brahma, which is the residence of the soul, is equal to God. So Baba says, in the same way, Brahm is the element of light where souls reside, but sannyasis have then given themselves the name, the ones who have knowledge of the Brahma element. So they thought that they call themselves Brahma Gyani, which is we know the Brahma, but actually in the Brahma there is nothing to know. You have to know the Father, and through the Father you know everything. However, the Brahma element is the place of residence for souls. Therefore, the Father explains how they have made such a huge mistake. All of this is their illusion. I have come to remove all of their illusions. On the path of devotion, they say, O God, your ways and means of granting liberation and giving directions are completely unique. So, Baba is the only one who liberates and Baba's directions are unique. So, Baba says, no one else can grant liberation. However, you receive directions from so many. The directions you receive here perform such a great wonder. So there is no dearth of directions in the world. There are so many people having so many belief systems and giving you so many directions. But Baba says only the Supreme Father's directions change you from humans to deities. So these directions only perform wonder. Otherwise, there is no dearth of directions in the world. These directions completely change the whole world. The intellects of you children now understand how so many religions come into existence. Later, souls will go and reside in their own sections. All of this is fixed in the drama. You children also know that only the one Father is the bestower of divine vision. So, Baba gives us all his powers, but he never gives us the power to give someone divine visions. So Baba says only the one Father is the bestower of divine vision. Someone said to Baba, give me the key to divine vision so that I can grant a vision to someone. Baba replied, no, no one can be given this key. Instead of that, I grant you world sovereignty. I don't receive that. So Baba says, I don't claim world sovereignty and I don't give you the key to divine vision. The part of granting divisions is my part alone. When someone has a vision, he becomes so happy even though he doesn't receive anything. So Baba only teaches us the karma which bears fruit. Baba doesn't give us the key to this karma which only makes someone happy but actually doesn't lead to anything. It isn't that when someone has a vision he becomes free from disease or that he becomes rich. No. Meera had a vision, but she didn't attain liberation. People think that she used to reside in Vaikunth, but where is Vaikunth, the land of Krishna? All of those things are just visions. So she didn't know the way to go to Vaikunth, or she didn't go to Vaikunth. She only had visions. The father sits here and explains everything. At first, this one had visions of Vishnu, who Brahma Baba, and he became very happy. So Baba had a purpose of giving these visions to Brahma Baba. And what was the purpose? He saw that he was going to become an emperor, and he also had a vision of destruction and then a vision of his kingdom. So the faith that he was going to become the master of the world was instilled in him. Then Baba entered him. Okay, Baba, you take all of this. I just want the kingdom of the world. You too have come here to make this bargain, have you not? So just like Brahma Baba understood that he is going to have a kingdom and he didn't care for worldly affairs, he just said, I will follow your Srimad and you give me the kingdom. So Baba says, you also make this bargain, because the direction for us children is follow Brahma Baba. Those who take knowledge will stop doing devotion, and in devotion there is a desire for vision. In knowledge there is a desire for going to the land of peace and happiness. So when we come to knowledge, our desires change. So Baba says, your desires change into good wishes and your ego changes into pure pride. Acha. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost, now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Bab Dada. The spiritual father says namaste to the spiritual children. The spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father. Essence for dharana: imbibe divine virtues and do true service of Bharat by following Srimad. Bring benefit to yourself, to Bharat, and to the world with a lot of interest. Accurately understand the eternal and imperishable predestined drama, and don't make any effort that would waste your time. Don't even have wasteful thoughts. Blessing: may you make your stage constant and stable by practicing concentration and stability, and become an embodiment of total success. So Baba says, when you have concentration, you will automatically have a constant and stable stage. With concentration, all wasteful thoughts, words and deeds finish, and everything is filled with power. Concentration means to remain stable in one elevated thought. So this is the definition of concentration, which finishes all wasteful thoughts, words and deeds, and fills us with power. So when we concentrate on one elevated thought, that is, we hold one elevated thought in our buddhi and just keep experiencing its power, in which the expansion of the whole tree is merged. So that thought leads to several thoughts which make us aware of the truth. Increase concentration in all types of upheaval will finish. All thoughts, words and deeds will easily become successful. For this, be one who stays in solitude. Slogan: repeatedly to think about a mistake you have made means to continue to put a stain on top of a stain. Therefore, put a full stop to the past. Om Shanti.